professional from a professional standpoint um, or from another output, I guess we'll call it, or another viewpoint, will depend on what your output comes out to be. And the problem with vague prompts is exactly what it says. I mean, you're going to get more generic, a lot of different, not very much specificity. And if you're using it in a professional situation, you want it to address direct points more than anything. Um, Here, prompts serve as the lens through which AI perceives and interprets your intent. Someone, I think it's Francis, could you mute your screen, please? All right. So what is a prompt? Prompt is a question, instruction, statement. And I kind of look at this as question architecture, right? How do you construct or question construction? How do you construct this question, which equals this prompt, to get me the best response back? Types of prompts: open-ended, closed, just as any other question. Creative and factual, simple queries versus complex. As you get more into this, you'll see how to use this to your benefit. The bridge metaphor: prompts function as a bridge between human intent and AI response. And I think the graphic over there to the right is a very good demonstration. Anatomy of a good prompt: specificity, context, format, and tone. Here in the near future, if it hasn't already hit your ears, you'll hear things like where this is more prompt engineering, you'll hear of context engineering. So that's growing on the cusp at this point because of the speed of how AI is moving. I want to look at real quick format and tone, where in constructing a prompt, you may want to say that produce a response that is going to be compassionate or a soft tone or aggressive. So these are all the different parts that you can personalize to the output of your choice. So the power of specificity. Vague prompts: tell me about marketing. Specific prompts: list 3 effective marketing strategies for B2B software companies with limited budgets. Give GPT an identity and role. So act as, matter of fact, who in the group has used this identity role type of feature already? Just by show of hands or by just saying I. Show of hands with the little raised hand feature there, anybody? Well, if you have it, it's an excellent way of really kind of designing your own coach. So like what I've done is, and actually in the Power program of our project and design a book, I created a coach. So it was acting as a book writer and then detailing out what the criteria of what that coach could offer. 15 years experience, award winning, a master in, same type of deal here. Act as a physics tutor, act as a senior marketing strategist, act as a sci-fi author and being specific in the space. Provide context and background. Who is the information for? So who's the audience? Um, some of the examples that we just went through in the breakout, I saw many of you worked with this manipulating the context. Why you're asking, obviously purpose, how the information will be used, the application, benefits of context, more accurate, appropriate complexity level, relevant examples. Because I think what you'll find as you enter information in, sometimes you won't be as thorough as you thought you were. And so what I may sometimes do is ask it to produce the prompt. So here's my information, produce the prompt. Take that prompt and maybe drop it to another LLM and tell it to poke holes at it. Make this prompt a little stronger. What is this prompt missing? One question at a time. This is like a great tool for me. Problematic multi-question. What's the weather like in Paris? Response may prioritize one question. So one tool that I used, one question at a time, was I wanted my LLM to learn my voice so it can produce output more as I would naturally produce. So I ask it, produce 20 questions that will get you to learn my tone, how I provide feedback, things of that nature. So it spits out 20 questions. But I don't want to answer just 20 questions. So I said, well, this is a little overwhelming. Give me one question at a time so I can respond. And that's exactly what it'll do. So for every answer, I go to the next question. And for every answer, I go to the next question. Using examples and prompts, write a customer service email response to a complaint about late delivery. Use this tone and structure. So thank you for bringing this issue to our attention. So name, our understanding. We understand your frustration with specific problem. We're taking immediate steps to provide a solution. As a token of our appreciation, the compensation offer, please contact us if you need anything. Sincerely, the team. So creating templates is a huge part of what we use in our business. So in my business, we have a sales process, we have a fulfillment process within operations. And so in each stage, different things will occur, which will have different scripts. To be very transparent, we had those scripts that we wrote up at first, and then by producing certain templates or through custom GPTs that we put together, now we have a lot more clarity, and we realized that our scripts weren't as good as we thought they were. Any questions so far? All right. Limiting scope and output.
Sorry, Adele, sorry to interrupt. I couldn't get it off mute fast enough. What do you mean it improved your scripts? How did it improve your scripts?
So we produced scripts that were more, honestly, they went straight to the point, but in some cases they were not as, let me see the best way to explain this. Not necessarily as detailed, but really getting into the point of, well, I'll tell you, we produced one script that we dropped in, and it was like, well, this is a little bit passive, and it should be more in line of this. And so obviously we used the script that our our GPT provided. Um, but that was through by producing a custom GPT that we aligned with, hey, we found um, we found some of the top email marketers in the space and
Mm,
and funnel producers. So
mhm,
people like Russell Bronson, Myron Golden, uh, some other folks, Ubong King. I'm a big fan of Ubong King, and um, so we created a coach in that space that would provide certain answers. So we could take an email thread. So say a customer ghosts us, so they're not returning messages, or we're not getting the right responses as what we're looking for. So we can take a thread in the email, drop it over to our GPT, and it analyzes it. It tells it where we messed up, and it then makes the suggestion. So I hope that answered your question without necessarily going too far off script. But
no, I think you did answer it. And I think your answer was what I was trying to understand was how you're using it to try and improve what you've already done. And you mentioned some of the people that you follow, right? So I follow Neil Patel, for example, and Tim Denning. I
mhm,
like Tim Denning's no BS writing style. That's kind of me. And
yeah,
so I've had Tim Denning I've created a coach that was in the style of Tim Denning to help improve my writing style in terms of when I'm writing marketing pieces. So it was very interesting. Thanks for that.
okay. Thanks for asking. Um, Limiting scope and output, word count limits. This is really handy. So, how many in here work with well, Twitter is now X, but I'm just going to call it Twitter. So Twitter or within LinkedIn. By show of hands, we don't have a lot of hand raisers here, do we?
Mm-mm.
There we go. Okay, Chris. So, they're going to give you LinkedIn necessarily. When you're writing a post, it doesn't give you a word count, but um, when you're working within, what would you say, Chris? Is it in mail or is it when you're trying to make a connection? Do you recall which one?
I've used them both.
Not you, Chris, the other Chris, Chris
Chris
Gilbert.
Gilbert.
Yeah, I use X. I use X, and then X. When you try to post something, they limit you on the number of word count.
Yeah,
So
characters.
yeah, the number of word count. So for instance, if you want to exceed a certain limit, maybe you have to go for the paid version. I mean, you have to upgrade to premium, etc. So I post frequently on X.
Okay. So this is a great tool for that. So using your LLM to narrow that down to say this is what I want to say, but I need this to be within 130 characters.
That's right. That's right.
So thanks for your comment there, Chris.
You're welcome.
You too. Requesting tone and formatting. We addressed this a little bit earlier. Um, writing an academic tone suitable for research paper. Iterative questioning and refinement. So initial quote, explain how panels work. First refinement, that's too technical. Can you explain it in simpler terms? Further specification, great now some practical information and then polishing it as well. Because it can get pretty technical sometimes. So telling it to explain to you as a fifth grader comes in quite helpful. Experimentation and testing, test and approach, scientific experimentation, finding the best prompts, try different phrases, add or remove context elements, testing the approach, and then sample variations. It gets a little bit more technical as you go down. Write an email about a new product, write an email for busy professionals, a little bit more specific, and then write an email targeting business professionals, new productivity software, getting a little bit more specific as well. Advanced prompting techniques. Ooh, somebody, okay, there we go. Advanced prompting techniques, chain of thought prompting. Somebody has their microphone on.
I'm looking, I don't see it.
Okay. So chain of thought, step by step, explain how this calculus problem. So I'm a big, like if you have, some of you may have two screens, some of you may have one, but you can always kind of condense so you can have two screens running. But I'm a big proponent of produce me a step-by-step, clear and concise instructions. So that's a great tool to use. So method, instead of telling me directly, ask me some questions. Oops, I don't know why I keep doing that with my mouse. There we go. And then progressive disclosure. Please explain the concept at a high level, then gradually add more technical details.
The internet is bad.
Maybe that's Sandra. Could you mute your microphone, please?
Using your phone.
All right. And then common pitfalls to avoid. Overload instructions, too many requirements, context-less questions without background information. AI makes assumptions and may not align with your needs. This is a huge one. And as you may, I think it may have been Abraham who spoke on this in our first session, or maybe it was Francis, and that was the hallucination aspect. If there's not enough information, your LLM may just produce information. So it's important for you to be very specific, and that may mean telling it what not to do, or it may just come up with something. So you have to make sure that you review it. Yes, no questions when depth is needed. The role of iterative dialogue, human AI collaboration, like human conversation, the most productive AI interactions built upon previous exchanges. Again, this by just providing the thumbs up, the system starts to learn you. And then what you'll find, particularly if you use your voice AI, you'll be surprised of how much your voice AI starts to take on some of your personality. So that gets to be really interesting. So if you use your voice ChatGPT, if you have that on your phone, it gets to be a little bit creepy, but it's also kind of like talking to yourself. Effective follow-ups, powerful dialogue continues with, can you elaborate on point 3? That's helpful. What about this? Ethical considerations of prompting, safety first, fact verification, bias awareness. There's that bias awareness and ethical side of things. Really can't overemphasize that aspect. And having the diversity of thought in order to try to eliminate as much bias as possible. And then privacy protection. Avoid sharing sensitive personal information. I think Chris Daly might have spoken this earlier, but if not, when using your free version of chat or any of the other LLMs for that matter, your information is public. So just being cautious of what you enter into the system on the free version becomes public. So be aware of that versus the paid versions. You have more security features involved. Real world examples and case studies. Business analysis analyzes customers' feedback data for our SaaS product and identify the top 3 points. Result actionable insights revealing different priorities. Educational support, act as a patient math tutor, helping a struggling 8th grader. I think you'll see in the future, you'll see now and the future more AI teachers, because if you think about it, an AI instructor, AI teacher can learn your student and how they learn. So they can learn more information faster, which honestly, in my opinion, it's like grades start to become less and less important, right? Maybe it's age-based, but a 3rd grader learning at a 6th grade level, is it really a 3rd grader anymore? Creative writing, generate a plot outline for a mystery novel. And then structure creative framework with rich character development. As you start to play this a little bit on the creative side, you also get into, you can use ChatGPT. I haven't used any of the other tools for this, but you can use ChatGPT 4, 4.5, 5 for even creating different graphic work. So key takeaways for better results: be specific, provide context, assign roles, iterate, and refine. So conclusion, mastering the art of asking, the questioning journey. That's that question architecture, right? And then the role of AIs in the future. As you refine your questioning technique, you're not just getting better answers, you're actively participating in guiding AI development. The questions will will ask and shape how the systems evolve. And it's not just evolve as a whole, your system will evolve around you. So last week's homework, I think Chris Daly had addressed this while I was having some technical issues. So your homework was to use enopower.ai or another LLM of your choice. And I see that you guys are pretty fluent from, again, ChatGPT's Perplexity, DeepSeek, Copilot, and enopower. That's 5. The outline should be at least 3 levels. For example, level 1, level 2, level 3. What are you going to build? So does anyone want to talk a little bit about their homework assignment? Outside of, I think, was it Abraham, you did yours earlier? I think that was you. So outside of Abraham.
Adele,
Yeah.
I would like for everybody to send their homework to me via email and I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
And that way we can take a look at it. I'll take a look at it, and some of my teammates will take a look at it, and we will provide a little bit of feedback.
Okay. So although everyone's going to be submitting their homework, does anyone else want to just kind of present what they have? Okay, I'm gonna start calling names here. How you guys want to do it?
Yeah. Hello? Okay.
Yes, Loretta?
Loretta.
Yes.
So let me just say what I did to my topic. My topic is design and implementation of offline test writing platform in tertiary education.
Okay.
So we came up with different level. First is to understand offline computer-based testing. Second level, components of online testing. Then looking at technical security features.
You said
Implementation and
you said looking at technical security futures?
yes, of offline test writing.
Okay.
Test right.
And which LLM will you be using, Loretta, or did you use?
I use Gemini.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. This is a great
Yeah,
group.
also I'll be looking at the pedagogical consideration in test design.
Okay. You were kind of fading a little bit on the connection, so I was hearing bits and pieces. But I think Chris, did you drop your email into the chat?
I did.
Okay. So Loretta, I look forward to looking at that. Thanks for speaking up.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? All right. Yes. Don't forget to fill out the attendance register using the link. Titus, are you there?
Yep.
All right. So, how did you do with your homework?
My homework was basically on roots of resilience, building a legacy of empowerment in Black communities. Yeah, I did that through Power AI.
Okay.
Yeah. So the all at one is introduction, defining resilience. All at two is historical foundations of resilience. Three is modern strategies for building resilience. Four, you got practical application. Five is a conclusion and summarizing of the importance of resilience.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you,
So
Titus.
is that
Go
going to be a
ahead.
book?
Come again?
Is that going to be a book?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Sandra, I see you got your hand up. Sandra? Well, you may have stepped away there, and your microphone is there. You go.
I use AI, ChatGPT. My topic is turning waste into wealth.
Turning wealth. What was that again? Turning what?
Turning waste into wealth.
Waste into wealth.
Yes.
Oh, that sounds good.
Turning waste into wealth.
Okay.
Okay. I have the introduction. I have
Well, we heard you say intro. You may have a bad connection there. But no worries. Submit the information. We look forward to taking a look at it as Chris had mentioned. Thanks, Sandra. And then if you look back at can you guys still see my screen or not so much?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So this week's homework is to use AI to see what the future holds. Use technology's crystal ball to identify the potential future of technology of your choosing, 2030, 2040, 2070. That 2070 should be really interesting. Actually 2030, I'm kind of curious to see what if somebody comes up with robot stuff, as I mentioned before. And then using the conversation prominent librarians, your homework is to use AI to have a conversation with a famous librarian and complete the worksheet that'll be emailed to you. Chris, you want to speak on that or?
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen. Let me pull it up. It went faster than I thought. Hold on, so let me pull it up here. I'll pull it up in Canva, and I will share my screen. If you haven't used Canva yet, you need to. It's a great tool. So here's the worksheet, and it's going to be emailed to you. And it's, are you famous? It's, are you famous? And so what I'd like for you to do is complete the worksheet and then email it to me, and be prepared to talk about it next week. So you're going to pick one of the famous librarians, and I'll have to turn that on after class. Let's see who is that? Hold on a second. There we go. Okay. So you will go in and you will have a conversation. You'll pick one of the famous librarians and go through and have a conversation using using that particular tool in InnoPower.ai. So there's a series of questions there, right? What are you most proud of? If you could change one thing, what would it be? Right? So this is going to be, you're going to have a simulated conversation with William Tubman, for example, if you so chose, right? Or any other, there's, I think 14 people I've got in there. And so you'll be able to go in and have a conversation with them using AI. And I'd like for you to just write down the answers and then be prepared next week to talk about it.
All right. I'll grab the screen again. All right. Can everyone see my screen? Chris,
Yes.
you can?
Yeah,
Okay, good deal. The capstone project. We get
Yeah, they're good. They're good with that. That was just in there to remind them that what we're doing there.
Gotcha. Yeah, so capstone project. The main purpose of this here is so that you get an understanding of all the different aspects of what's being taught in these sessions. Our biggest goal is and why the homework is so important is that it takes a different frame of thinking. And if you're changing your thinking pattern, it's not something that necessarily comes natural. It becomes more of like a forced behavior. So what we're kind of doing is forcing the behavior of, hey, let's use the tools, let's use the mechanisms. Um, and Chris Daly may have mentioned this. You'll start to see how your colleagues approach things differently, and you'll be like, wow, that's a great idea, upon your idea. So as you look at your capstone project, if it's a grant proposal or marketing plan, a book, I think you'll learn more from your colleagues in your class than you will from us. We're just kind of idea generating and providing some platforms and for me to work from. And I believe that is it for today's session.
Yeah, I would just jump in there and say what we found is that the most important part is the teamwork and the camaraderie that's developed in trying to do this and going through these workshops together. And then what you do afterwards. I stopped teaching Adele and his peers. We stopped that class. That class finished up mid-May. And those people are still communicating on a daily basis back and forth with what they're doing, the ideas that they've got. If somebody gets stuck, um, they're communicating and collaborating, and that is a key for you to move forward as individuals and a university. You're going to move forward much faster when you have everybody collaborating together and throwing out ideas, different opinions. You get stuck. You don't have to spend days trying to figure it out. You can just call somebody or you can ask them. So it's really important that you all try to collaborate and talk together as you go forward.
Yes. I believe that's about it. Does anyone have any questions?
One final note. I don't have a question, but one final note is that the slides are going to take us a little bit of time to get downloaded and then get them re-uploaded to YouTube. Or not slides, I'm sorry, the video. But you will be getting the stuff after class, early this afternoon. I'm working with Blonde, who you keep seeing the kindly reminders popping into the chat. She is our admin, and she is helping me as I go forward. So we will get those things up and get them published to you as soon as we possibly can. And she's not
Thanks,
an
Chris.
admin; she's a project manager. I just spoke around.
Okay, Chris.
Okay. All right. Don't forget to send me your homework, and looking forward to seeing you on Thursday. Nice job,
Yep.
Adele.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Adele.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Good job, Adele.
Thank you.
Crystal Brooks. Okay, who else still here? All right, let's go ahead and just end the call.